Reports surfaced over the weekend that Jack Eichel could command a whopping $15 million AAV for a contract extension. If that's the case, at what point does VGK drop out of a supposed bidding war? Could get dicey around here, and there's more ahead on this Marner Monday edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. The start of a new week. UNLV back to school, first day today. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. I'm a longtime sportscaster, marketing consultant, and the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. And Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and the collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Now, coming up ahead on today's show, Mitch Marner did want to stay in Toronto per Nylander. We'll talk about that. And bye-bye, you put bye-bye in there. Holtz, Alexander Holtz. And that, according to reports that surfaced over the weekend. We're brought to you today by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances today. Use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL, 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com. Insider Frank Saravelli from Bleacher Report now, reporting over the weekend, Chris, that Jack Eichel could want supposedly around $15 million a year for a new contract. And I'm pretty certain that's for an 8-year deal, right? We'd have to probably agree on that. 8 times 15, holy smokes. But whatever happened to the talk of around 12.5 to 13 million a year? Was that something VGK perhaps floated out there? Did the newly married Eichel and his bride perhaps notice the price of eggs went up at the market and they decided that they needed a lot more money? Could that be the case? Could landing price in negotiations go somewhere in the middle there up to $14 million? And I saw at a projected cap, Chris, of $104 million. That is about 14% of the cap in 26-27. So do we believe that these rumors are somewhat true? And we've guessed that something was amiss because we thought that an Eichel extension would be finished by now.
There's a few things to take in right now. Number one, you have a chunk of free agents coming up. McDavid obviously is kind of leading that market, although there's reports that suggest that some type of deal potentially is in place for McDavid to extend in Edmonton in early September. So we'll wait and see about that. And I mean, I guess if Eichel is wanting to see what the market brings first, I get that. His agent is Pat Brisson per Puckpedia. Brisson has a total value of active contracts of $1.3 billion. Say that again, $1.3 billion. I don't think that Pat Brisson is a greedy SOB or anything like that, but I do think Pat Brisson knows the business side of making sure his clients get paid, and I think he's going to steer Jack to the right, at least give Jack an idea of what he might be worth. Now it's up to Jack whether he wants to go full value or give the Golden Knights some type of a discount.
If you're Kelly McCrimmon, are you like Victor Frankenstein? Just stick with me for a second. Because Victor Frankenstein created Frankenstein. And Kelly McCrimmon and the doctors basically created or recreated Jack Eichel. I'm just wondering, at the bargaining table, Kelly McCrimmon, what does he look like there? What's the reaction if that $15 million number comes up when they're going out 12.5 to 13? Sign right here, son.
I mean, if Jack's camp comes in at 15 for the first offer, I don't think either side signs the first offer. McCrimmon says 12.5 million, okay, and Eichel might slide the paper back, and then Brisson and Eichel come back at 15. McCrimmon Danny DeVito shaking his head no. there's a lot of stages right now involved in this process with Eichel. As far as our confidence level or our concern level is a better way to put it. If the immediate concern level is a 1, Jack is extending in Vegas, no issues, nothing to worry about. We're wasting his segments. That would be what a 1 is. A 10 is, okay, Jonathan Marchessault, it's the eve of free agency and a deal hasn't been worked out yet. We're now at a 2, the realization stage that this might not be as easy as people thought it would be. And that's fine. I mean, again, we're not talking, an entry-level position here where you walk in, you get a job, you get hired. We're talking a pretty big contract that's going to be worth equal to or greater than $100 million over 8 years. I mean, this is Eichel's biggest contract. This is his biggest amount of money he'll ever make unless he buys some cryptocurrency and it goes bonkers or he goes broke like Aaron Rodgers almost did with it. So we'll wait and see exactly how that shakes out. But again, we've gone up just a little bit on the concern level that this isn't going to be as easy as we thought.
Just a little bit. Let's say VGK offers $13 million, and then Foley says you can own the state of Montana after that.
Gives him his ranch down there.
Gives him the ranch. VGK could probably afford the $15 million, but we talked about top heaviness on our last show at the end of last week. At what cost does McCrimmon say, okay, we've reached the point of no return and we're going to get out of a bidding war if that comes to fruition?
I mean, we're talking about a Stanley Cup contending roster for 25-26. So let's just doom and gloom. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. The Golden Knights are having a rough season. There's some injuries and the playoffs aren't going to happen. Then maybe you do look at trade scenarios involving Jack Eichel. But again, we're going many bad things need to happen before you get to that point. And McCrimmon will not drop out of the Eichel sweepstakes until whatever free agency is, usually that Friday right around July the 1st or whatever, that Monday right around July 1st. Wherever that date is, he wouldn't drop out of the Eichel sweepstakes until Eichel probably signs a contract elsewhere. And again, I don't think we're going to get to this point. Maybe it gets a little dicey, but this time when we were talking about Marchessault a few years ago, there was no concern either. Like, it's going to get worked out. Don't sweat it. It's going to be fine. It's going to, and then a day goes by, a week goes by, a month goes by. And then about February is when you started getting the chatter in the media about a little bit of difficulty with a contract. I know people are going to say, Marchessault, a much different scenario. Marchessault is older, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but it came down to money. It came down to term. And that is an exact parallel to what's happening with Eichel. Eichel's going to want a number, and the number he's going to want, he will likely get from someone. And McCrimmon needs to try and keep that around $13 million, $12.5 million, 13.5, whatever that number is, because that's another piece that can help Jack Eichel and Kelly McCrimmon and the Vegas Golden Knights continue to compete for a Stanley Cup for the life of Jack Eichel's contracts.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what it would be like if you had Eichel at 15 and Marner at 12, and most of your cap is just about sunk there, and then you have to get nothing. They would be top heavy because you'd have to have a lot of depth pieces around them, and I don't know if they can contend, to be quite honest. A top 20 center, an Olympian now, of course, Eichel, a cup champion. It's all adding up. Yes, I agree. He does deserve to get the bag. And Kelly McCrimmon, though, I just can't imagine what the conversations were like if Eichel shows up and goes, hey, man,
what's really quick, what do you have projected cap for 26, 27?
I think I said $104 million.
So if the cap's going up really fast here, if the cap's going up $9 million from the 95.5 where it is now,
the year after, I think it's in the 120 range, Chris.
Yeah. So yes, the money will be there for Jack, and Jack knows the cap is going up. So, $12 million today is $15 million 3 years from now, is $17 million after that. And you got to factor inflation and the cost of living in Vegas. It ain't cheap. It ain't as cheap as everyone thinks.
The cost of eggs.
Terrible.
It's pretty bad. Coming up next, Mitch Marner wanted to stay in Toronto per Nylander. We'll talk about that later on. Bye-bye, Holtz. I had to get that in there.
You like
We'll
that?
be back with more right after this on Lockdown Golden Knights. College football is so back, and honestly, there's nothing better than the energy of tailgates and being in the stands with your fellow fans. The only downside, trying to get tickets. Endless queues of hidden fees as well, and prices that jump at checkout. We've seen that before. And that's why I really do use Gametime, the app that gives you the advantage. It gives it back to the fans. It's like the home field advantage, if you will. It's the easiest way to score last minute tickets and the best prices imaginable. There's no surprise fees as well. And what you see is what you get. I pulled up Gametime in just a couple of taps. I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games for as low as $25, and you definitely cannot beat that. And then I also love the zone deals too. You pick a section, Gametime picks the seats, and you are on your way, and you save big as well. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets today with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL, $20 off of your first purchase. Download the Gametime app today. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you'll get $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Welcome back on this edition. A little froggy this morning, man.
No, so I have like a text message. My phone comes through my computer, and my Wordle chat group just sent a text message, and like it blocked the ad reads or the thing I clicked to put the ad on, so I couldn't do it right away.
Oh, okay. Are we good? You're back
good.
to normal. It's Monday. It's Monday.
Normal?
It's Marner Monday.
We have never been normal.
Especially
You take
not
it back
on
to something you've never been.
Something else in the negotiations for Eichel. He wants his own day. He's really upset that Marner has his own day, but I couldn't come up with anything there. We will if it comes down to it. So William Nylander spoke on NHL.com to Mike Zeisberger about Mitch Marner. Of course, that's the topic of the day every Monday. And his focus, what was it like during the playoffs, which has come into question. We've heard about this before. And Nylander said that Marner was focused. He's not sure why there are stories like that have come out and where they're coming from. But he said he didn't think that Marner would leave ahead of his time.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you were going to keep going there for a second. It's, there's a lot of things happening right now and stories coming out from every which way about Mitch Marner and whether he wanted to leave Toronto, whether he wanted to stay in Toronto, how long this situation in Vegas was taking shape. But I mean, Nylander, who's been alongside of Mitch Marner for a long time, if Nylander is saying that he believes Marner's mindset was staying in Toronto, extending in Toronto, and the wording of this article by Mike Zeisberger, Nylander said Marner's sole focus on the ice was to bring success to a franchise that had not won a cup since '67. Nice little dig in there, right there by the NHL writer, whether it was on purpose or not. It's pretty funny. So
I'm sure it was on purpose.
Yeah, it probably was. So, I don't know how much I think this is accurate. I think that Marner definitely allowed himself to cheat, if you will, a little bit on the Maple Leafs as far as when the idea entered his mind he might be leaving town. And you wonder, when did Vegas officially enter the picture? I've heard there was some what's the word I'm looking for? Some interest shown by the Marner camp in Vegas throughout last season. I guess I'll leave it like that.
Nylander said, I actually asked him during the season, and he was focused on Toronto. He said he didn't want to press Marner, said it was on his mind, of course, free agency. But again, his play was focused on helping the Maple Leafs win. I think he's a competitor, and I think that Marner did want to win there. And even if he's leaving, he would have liked to have left with the cup.
100%. I mean, Marner's a pretty good hockey player. Toronto is going to remind you that he's not, but Toronto would have loved him if he would have stayed. And listen, at some point, just you got to press the reset button in sports. You've seen this happen a lot. And granted, a superstar of this level hitting free agency was pretty unprecedented. We talked, and I forgot, someone gave a good comparison of someone like 3 or 4 years ago, or 5 or 6 years ago, where it was a big time free agent right in the midst of their prime. And the fact that he didn't get his cup in Toronto, it's unfortunate. He wanted to win a cup there. Anyone that tells you he didn't want to win a cup there is just, full of baloney. They're a chooch, as Tony would say. They're a chooch. So he gets a reset. And I think Marner likes what Vegas is about. I mean, he leaned right into everything on his first day here, and the media availability to his upstairs video, putting the jersey on and running the kid around and all that, so he's embracing what Vegas is about. Wasn't it Marner? It was the worst freaking skills competition ever, but it was the one, I think, where the Florida Panthers hosted, and the shootout competition was nearly as bad as the one in Vegas was. Was
he shooting at the surfboards? Was that the one?
No, that was the one. But I think Marner's penalty shot shootout, like he came out like Miami Vice, like in like that white suit and stuff.
He did come out
with the Zach Morris Saved by the Bell phone and all that.
I think it was him. He had the brick.
So I mean, listen, Vegas is fun, and Vegas does things differently than any of the other 31 NHL franchises, including they play pretty well and win games too. But I think Marner just looks at the situation, and Vegas is where he wanted to be, and it's going to be good. It's going to be really good, I think.
In one of those articles I was reading over the weekend, it said that someone said that Marner is very chatty. That's the way that they described him. So that ought to be fun. He's going to be talking up a storm here. He's going to be talking up a storm about Eichel wanting $15 million. He could have gotten more for sure. Austin Matthews also spoke out. It was at a charity event last week, late in the week. He said the Maple Leafs will definitely miss Marner, and he found out that he was a great teammate. Called him a great teammate, and that's the kind of the business side that we're seeing right now. And he said it's tough, but you have to go on.
A lot of the stuff that you heard about Jack Eichel, there's a lot of good things that came out of Buffalo from his teammates and some people from the city as well. I know a lot of people are upset the way that things ended, but there were some real solid things said about Eichel when he left. And these two situations, they have a ton of parallels. Marner left, whether it's financial and wanted to compete. And Eichel, I think, wanted to stay in Buffalo. I don't think Eichel wanted to leave. He just wanted to get his body repaired in a way that he felt was best for him. And the fact that Buffalo had said no, I think that certainly got the media train rolling and got the stories churning and got Buffalo's PR team working behind the scenes. We've seen this before in Vegas. And, so there's a lot of parallels here. So you do hope those two can confide in each other, and Marner's going to need some help through this. Like, I know Marner's a big boy and everything, but this is going to be a tough situation. It's going to be an adjustment, and you hope Eichel, you don't need to take a 100-point player under your wing or anything like that, but just be a good example of, hey, things worked out okay. It's going to be tough for a little bit, and Vegas is a pretty nice place to be, as we've seen not just out of Eichel, but the fact that Ryan Reeves, and he was also a part of the discussions of Mitch Marner to tell him about how good Vegas is and stuff. And you look at Riley Smith wanting to come back and everything, and this is a place that athletes can call home, not just when they're employed and working here, but in the off season and once they call it a career and everything. So you hope Marner sees that side of Vegas and Summerlin and Henderson and Surprise and everything else. And you hope that he embraces everything that Vegas is about.
Vegas is home, and then you have to kick out the tenants from your house for Riley Smith.
That happens.
Yeah, team effort, he said. Austin Matthews, he said they're going to have to make up the points. They know it. And guys are going to have to take steps. One of those players I think that might take a forward step is aforementioned Nylander. I think William Nylander has a good opportunity there to become a star, more of a star. There is part of the core four in Toronto.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, the person I'm looking at is Matthew Nyes. I really want to see what type of role Matthew Nyes gets into. And how about Nick Waugh? What's Nick Waugh going to become? Hopefully,
Why
Nick
not
Waugh to
Nick?
become a 40 point, 25 goal scorer or something like that.
Coming up next, we'll talk about the player that has departed, according to reports.
Ooh.
We'll get to that when we return on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. I'm waking up now, Golick. I slept through those first two segments. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe. Locked On Golden Knights, our YouTube channel. Fridays are WTF Day. And congratulations have to be in order. Bill Foley needed another chip. The Vegas Nighthawks, they won the IFL championship. And I watched starting like in the second quarter. I couldn't stop watching because I'm like, can one of these defenses step up here in this game? Because every single possession, Chris, up until that final possession and the stop at the half-inch line, they scored. It was just back and forth. Like
so many people I kept seeing rigged. All I saw was rigged on social media.
It was
Green Bay. What are they called?
I can't remember. It's Green Bay. I just call
Lumberjacks, Arctic.
No.
Blizzard?
The Blizz. It had Blizz on their helmets. Yes. Now it makes sense. It's a blizzard. So they stopped the Blizz at the half-yard line. Final play of the game. In arena football, who knew? The tush push. So they come with the tush push. Those two wide receivers run full steam straight ahead, but the quarterback mishandles the snap, runs into the line. They push him sideways. No way.
Butt fumble.
No. He didn't fumble. They just stopped him cold.
That's what happened. What about the Little League team?
Congratulations to Summerlin South. Man, that pitcher that they faced yesterday from China, they better check his driver's license.
You had the tweet of the day, I think.
I did?
I think it was you.
Okay.
How many teams started in the Little League World Series in the running for it?
Oh, what was it? 6,200?
6,500.
6,500.
That's the post of the day concerning that. That was pretty good.
6,500 teams started. Holy smokes. There's supposed to be a parade, by the way, downtown Summerlin.
Oh, good. They deserve it.
I think on Wednesday, they said. And they're also going to throw a parade for Alexander Holtz, I hear.
Before we get back to hockey, I did have the luxury of meeting Ryan. Ryan is a longtime listener of Lockdown VGK. I saw him Friday night down at America First. He was skating. I think it was his kid. And that was pretty cool to see. Your feet were hurting a little bit, Ryan. Bend those knees. You'll be fine out there, I promise. So very nice meeting you. And he happened to say that Tony's a hater also. So yeah,
Tony's a hater. Okay.
Tony's a hater.
So speaking of hating,
now on to hockey.
Now back to hockey, and back in June, VGK offered 5 restricted free agents qualifying offers: Lucas Cormier, Raphael Lavoie, Jonas Ronbjörg, and Cole Schwindt. They all accepted, right? And then the one that did not accept of the 5, Alexander Holtz. And we saw reports over this past weekend that Holtz, who asked for $15 million like Jack Eichel, that Holtz was removed. How do you just remove a player? How do you remove a player?
I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
The only way they can remove is if I'm reading this properly, the qualifying offer has to be made. And were there reports that a qualifying offer was made?
Yeah. Puckpedia, Chris, great question there. Puckpedia had it at $874,000.
What the hell does he think he's worth?
Exactly.
He's going to the KHL. Shanghai Dragons are bust, baby.
That's what I was going to say. He'd be
the average salary. I was looking this up. So a topic that me and Tony very lightly tabled was why do so many players go to the KHL? And some of the details that I found was the average salary is like $1.7 million or something like that. And
wow.
So basically it's either financial or players are looking to go to the KHL, get some attention, come back to the NHL. It doesn't always work out like that. And again, we don't know if that's what Holtz is going to do. We're just spitballing right now. But back to the topic in hand, like, can a team pull an offer once they've made it if the player hasn't signed it? I guess that's the only...
Turned it down. He had to turn it down.
But you can't turn it down, I don't think. So the way it works is you have to sign it by December 1st.
Oh, wow.
If you
Okay.
don't sign it by December 1st, you cannot play in the NHL or with any team until the following season. You can go over season play, like the KHL or Sweden or whatever. You can go over season play, but you cannot play in the NHL. So something strange kind of happened here, and I don't know exactly what. Maybe someone else has the details, but at the end of the day, Holtz, the player, just to talk about his kind of lack of contributions. I mean, he was Victor Olofsson, but couldn't score goals. I mean, don't see much out of him. 5-on-5, 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points, 53 games. Only a -3, but he's dude out there like 7, 8, 9 minutes a game, I think, at the most. I'll look that up in a second. And Holtz is a player that I think there was some upside when the trade happened. We're like, okay, Holtz, he's a player when I'm opening his hockey cards, like, hey, Holtz, decent prospect, see what happens, good luck. And now he's unemployed as a 22-year-old, 23-year-old.
23. Yeah. I think he's
who
Pisces.
is a year and a half removed of a 28-point season with 16 goals with the Devils.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong here, wasn't he like the 7th pick in the 2020 draft overall? Wasn't he was a pretty high prospect, I
Number
think.
7 overall, yeah, by the Devils in 2020. So
is that what it was? Overall, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it's overall. So there's a lot of things happening, and there's probably things on the backside too. And I enjoyed. He actually had 11:35 on average time on ice with Vegas. That's more than I thought it would have been. I think there's locker room stuff, and which is kind of strange because I did enjoy some of his interviews, like when he came here. I thought Lawless had a nice article, nice interview with him, just kind of outlining.
Oh, they were kissing his butt.
No, but I thought the interview.
Cassidy. I thought, why was Cassidy so high on this guy? Remember, Cassidy was just going.
That probably didn't last much longer than game number 3 of the regular season, I think.
Okay.
But
yeah,
sometimes things just don't work out with a player in a system. Number one, and number two, sometimes a player just doesn't work out. Period. I mean, we're talking about someone that 5 years ago. What draft was it?
2020.
2020. Yeah. So we're 5 years ago now. And here we are. Now, he was drafted 5 years ago as an 18-year-old. So, again, we're talking about a 23-year-old right now who still has some upside. But is his upside, a regular everyday player, or is it Grigory Denisenko?
Right. Exactly. And I think he's an AHL player. I hate to say that, but 16 games, 13 points, I think, in Henderson. And you might have said it best. Head to the KHL.
He was a point per game player as well, 51 and 52 in the 21-22 season.
Hey, by the way, Gage Quinney invited everyone to go see the Shanghai Dragons. Did you see that clip?
They're all doing it, and you can. Gerard Gallant doing it was the best one. Gallant's already over this. He is already over this. And it's
why did you say that? Why did you say Gallant is
just
over?
Look like Gerard Gallant inviting you all to come to open practice. Blah blah blah.
We should go. I think, we should just show up there. He invited us. Hey, we'll send him the bill.
I'm telling you, I'm going to find a Shanghai Dragons jersey. If anyone has a lead on one, let me know. Every time I Google Shanghai Dragons jersey, I get this video game Overwatch thing that keeps popping up. I'm like, no.
Gallant with the eyes. That's the best. The laser eyes.
Raiden, Mortal Kombat, baby.
Dude, they're going to get, I think, more attention, seriously, though, on the Dragons than any team in the KHL. I think they're going to get a ton of U.S. attention.
I mean, they're doing good with the marketing. It's fun. I'll give them that.
Good. They're good. Yeah, they're very good.
They have a Dragons Plus, Dragon Time Plus.
I don't know.
I'll bet I can pay for
Plus.
a streaming version of Dragon Time Plus that's coming from halfway across the globe that would blow Nighttime Plus out of the water.
Dragon Minus. That would be
great. It's Dragon Plus until otherwise.
We're gonna watch it. We're gonna have to stream some of those games. Yeah.
I'm going to pay attention to 3 teams this year: the Golden Knights, the Blackhawks, and the Shanghai Dragons. Those are my teams.
What order? Oh man, it could be a wild season though if Jack Eichel is not signed at the start of this season.
Hopefully, he'll get the Holtz treatments.
How crazy would it be though if Eichel isn't signed by the first game? And I hear, from the front office of VGK, well, we have all sorts of time to cut this deal. I don't know.
Every minute that goes by, the contract value might go up a little bit.
We appreciate our value is going to go up here if we don't get out of here. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers tuning in around the world, especially those in Shanghai. Of course, don't forget Fridays, WTF, Saturday sometimes, the Chris Times Chris Jr. show. From my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights, and please take care.